Hello, all you
Yes,
hardcore
lad.
out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Today we're joined by Adam in San Francisco. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Sorry about the interruption. How are you?
I'm all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. How's Adam?
Flying, bud. We're in the middle of a bit of a storm here. That's the only negative. Supposed to be flying out to Sin City, but the flight got delayed by a couple hours. So we're meant to be jetting off later this evening. So touch wood, no more delays.
You going to Vegas?
Yes, sir. Front and center. I'm going up for the Tio Lopez fight on Thursday. So we'll get a live one on the ground. I can be your gad, but in a good way.
How long does it take to get there then?
Quick, man. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from here. So it's nothing. You're up and then you're down. Very, very handy.
It's just like going to Jersey then from Doncaster.
Exactly. Just a stone throw away. So no, it's handy and very lucky. I've got friends out there and stuff. So can anytime I can get out, with work considered, I'll head out. And especially too, the flights or sorry, the tickets for this fight, they're not too expensive either. And Super Bowl week, it should be a laugh for sure, mate.
Yeah, what do you think to a profile pic?
Let me see here.
It's Jam Roly Poly. The rapist Mike Tyson with his gloves.
I
These are
won't,
what he auctions off at boxing shows with his Mike and I stories.
I didn't even clock it at first. It's a surprise he doesn't have some of the leftovers of the meatloaf encased as well, isn't it, bud?
Yeah, Mike and I and Cuss and Rooney eating meatloaf in the Catskills, prepared by Camille. What a great day, Mike! Great times.
Oh, mate, like
What?
you say, you put it perfectly. It's like if you tell yourself a lie for long enough, you'll probably end up believing it.
Well, it's I've been in jail with many people who've been in for murder, and I've read the depositions, and I've said to them after, because you're always looking for something to read at night in prison. All day you're grafting like a newspaper or a
Hmm.
magazine. Because when that door shuts, 8 o'clock after association, you've got them 4 or 5 hours you're left alone with your thoughts. So you're grafting something to read at night. And I just used to read people's cases, stuff like that, see if I could help them if they were on remand. So I used to read the depositions of murderers. I find it interesting, and I'd say to them, "Did you do it then?" They'd say, "No." They'd say, "No, no, I didn't." They'd tell you their version. I'd be like, "Wow!" And they actually convinced themselves that they didn't do it because it's the ultimate in it, and that's him in it. That's just him. So
Oh, completely. He's in too deep to pull back. Probably was in
that's
there
it.
way
He
too
can't
long
turn
ago.
back now. He can't turn back now, can he? But he's even convinced Mike.
I don't know how difficult that would be at the present moment, Chief, to be honest, but
Listen, mate, when you're booking somebody to come and do appearances in Birmingham in England and they're allowed it and they're on their arse at the time, they'll just say anything. But it ain't what he tells other people that I know. But if I could have got him on Zoom, I'd have lit him up, but he's too scared. So here you go. Anyway, what we got on the agenda then, Adam?
what do we have on the agenda? A couple of different things, obviously, by my photo there as well. We're going to have to talk about Crusher, unfortunately, I would think, and then a wee bit of the Sky Sports show last night as well, man. So wherever you want to start, we can get tucked in.
We'll start with that screenshot I've just sent you, if you want to start with that.
All right, let me here. Hold on. All right, right. Yes, yes,
The
absolutely.
Essex takeover in Vegas.
Take over. I was actually thinking about going out on Friday. Just I was considering going just to get a look and be on the ground and see actually what's what, because you hear through the media it was this and that and stuff, and obviously they had blacked out last night. But listen, I refused to go to the Devin Haney fight when it was in San Francisco simply because it was a matchroom show. So if I wasn't going to go see a pound for pound in the city, I'm definitely not going to go early or I wasn't going to go early to watch Crusher post up. More the same, like in terms of that message you sent me, the Essex takeover. I don't really see it that way at all, but especially too. I mean, it was starting in the middle of the day, and like you say, it was off the strip. It's just none of it's real, mate. None of it's real.
No, it ain't, mate. It ain't. It's What did you think to Johnny Fisher's performance?
I'll be honest, I only saw wee bits of the highlights. Not that there were too many. I like Johnny Fisher, just for me, obviously I know we're talking about the Essex takeover and whatnot, but I think he's fairly decent when he's been on Talk Sport. He seems like a decent lad. I didn't really begrudge him getting that turn and going out there. And like you said before, obviously the fella's got a following and he sells tickets. That's not necessarily what I had the problem with. It's
Mm.
it's all the other stuff and the fella at the top of the bill. But I don't know. I mean, he looked as good as he could, really, didn't he?
He could really, he could only get rid of the guy that's in front of him, couldn't he? Really.
Exactly, exactly. So
I think bothers boxing fans is all the cringe around him. I mean, as soon as he come out at ring, what they're feeding him spring rolls.
of course.
What is all that about? I don't get all that. Is that his treat or something? But
Well,
for
there's this. I think there's some sort of running joke. Well, it came up last time. He was saying that they can buy plenty of Chineses with a purse he got paid or something. So I think there's some tradition where him and his dad get a Chinese after a fight. Which is great, you know what I mean, between father and son. That's all well and good. But then when you get Matchroom trying to stick their hooks in and carting out spring rolls, like you say, it's cringe, it's over the top. There's no need for it.
mm, yeah.
Especially after you smoke a fella and the way he did.
Oh yeah. Agree. What do you think to the rest of the show?
I'll be honest, mate. I was watching the Sky Show in the morning, and then I was straight into the UFC. And by the time I actually tried to pull it up, the show had finished. The Ben fight was over. So I just went back and watched highlights. Like I said, I wasn't that fussed about watching it anyway. My photo up there is I was kind of conflicted putting it there. It is the shot where Mr. Ben sent the great Chris Algieri to
Yeah.
the moon and back.
Mm,
Now, I love Algieri. That's why I was conflicted about putting it up. The reason I did put it there is where has the power gone?
mm,
Where, and again, like I'll pull this back. I went back and I watched Piers Morgan. I know it's a long time ago now, but I just
mm,
wanted to kind of compare it to the interview Ben did with that MMA crook I was sending you earlier in the week, Helwani. But in that he said, and this is a quote straight from the horse's mouth, I want the biggest and best fights. I don't need a warm up. I want the biggest fight to leave no doubt about the legacy of my whole career up to now. So he doesn't need a warm up fight. Okay, whatever. That's what he says. Now he's had two, and people say that we're haters and all this, and we're just it's a witch hunt and all the rest, right? He said he didn't need warm up fights, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You can have them too, but again, he didn't put a dent in Dobson last night. And I know they were springing it up as an undefeated guy, but this isn't an active. I don't even know if he's like proper domestic level, even in the US or certainly not the UK. How can you not get him out of there? And he said he was running and stuff. Maybe in parts. That's not what I seen. Like it's just, yeah, I don't know, mate. Where has that power gone? Did you see what Haney said about him? No, Devon.
yeah, he said something about he must have forgot to take the drugs or something, didn't he, or something like
Yeah,
that.
he said he must have left the power in the needle. Um, it's just there's contradictions left and right. He looks like a different fighter to me, just again in terms of the power. Like when he touched Algieri and even Chris Van Eerden, it looked like almost when Beterbiev punches, even a jab, it looks like it crucifies the other man and takes something out of him. Like that's just disappeared. And again, people talk about a witch hunt. Let's just deal with facts. In my opinion, that fella that iced Chris Algieri would have iced the last two fellas, no problem. He couldn't put a dent in either of them. So I don't know, mate. And not even past the power. Like he just didn't look good last night. Like, and again, I'm not trying to be a hater for the sake of it. And I know I didn't watch the full fight, but he just doesn't look like the same man at all. So I don't know what much more you can say to that. And he's talking about. I know he's going to call out everybody because he's not going to get the fight. But can you imagine what a Boots Ennis would do to that fella in the ring last night? Can you
Could have
actually imagine?
light
Like you
him.
talk about lambs to the slaughter. it would make the Mundo Better Behave fight look like a picnic. That's what I think. I think he would crucify him, like in a very, he would make a meme out of him. And that would be, or will be, the end of the Ben nightmare, I think, anyway, if he gets that fight. But you're not going to be able to sell, or Matchroom aren't going to be able to sell many more of these, you know, these layups. Sure, he was saying during the week too, like he didn't expect it to hit the second round. And I know like he has to build up the fight or whatever, but I don't know. I just think it's not a good reflection how you can't get a guy like Dobson. You know, he was game and he showed up, whatever, but how you can't get him out of there, it raises a lot of questions. What do you think, bud?
Yeah, well, first of all, what I think it was a shit show. And Parker, I think, has got to really be removed from DAZN now. He's got to lose his job because he were hyping this up and talking about Crusher Ben like he was the second coming of Aaron Pryor.
I know.
It was embarrassing from Darren Barker, who's obviously married to somebody who works at Matchroom, who's been there years, and he's a ex-Sims fighter, commenting on a Sims fighter. It's all nice and cozy, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. And again, if you go back even on a wider level, you go back to that, it's just how much. I know there's been rumors about Hearn and Ben obviously not seeing eye to eye as much as they used to. But these contradictions, like again, go back to Piers Morgan, and this is a quote from the horse's mouth from Ben, that he does not accept the WBC ruling. Now, I know a lot of time has passed, but he was very, very staunch in that, no, I don't accept it. That's not real. They basically gave him a get out of jail free card, and he says, no. Now, Eddie Hearn's running about on TalkSport, anybody will listen in the ring after, saying he's cleared his name with the WBC. Now, has he done a U-turn and he does accept it now? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just,
well, they've
none
run
of it's
out of
aged
ideas,
well.
they've run out of ideas, and if you go back on this channel over a year, you'll see. Go back about till October last year. I said, and I quote, "The last one they're going to play is the mental health one." They played it this week, didn't they, on Thursday?
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you think of that?
Here's what I would say, right? Again, we can come across as the haters, whatever people want to say at times, right? If it is a 1 in 10 million chance, or whatever the statistics would say, right? If by some absolute anomaly that Ben didn't do what he's accused of, right? Didn't knowingly take stuff, I do feel like seriously bad for him. Like again, let's say you knew for a fact, right, in your heart of hearts that you were definitely innocent and you had went through what he's gone through. I would feel bad for him, right? But do I think he's Andy Dufresne? Again, let's deal with facts. The facts say no. So I don't know, mate. It's just again, like I say, if it is true, if he is somehow innocent, then I genuinely do feel bad for him. But on the other side of the coin, if he's not innocent and he knows in his heart that he isn't, then saying what he's saying and using the narrative that they're using, I think it's very unfair to other people suffering through the same kind of stuff in the real world. You know what I mean? Like it's a big card to pull out. It really, really is. And like you say, is it a case of running out of ideas? But again, there's the 270-page dossier that has been, they've been pulling out pages right, left, and center. It was 270, it was 245, it was 220.
35, regardless, and when it 35.
Exactly. They've condensed it down big time. They've cut out a lot of the fat. But whether it's 270 pages or 35, where is that? I know the appeal is still coming up, but if that doesn't come out, like let's say they get the case finished and let's say the BBC do clear him or whatever, right? And this does go away. That document has to come out. Now, again, Piers Morgan, he said he couldn't release it now because of the legal case. That's fine. I'll take that into account. But when this appeal is over, that document has to see the light of day. All right? Because they've been harping on about it for ages. Well, sorry, they were, but there's no mention now. So it's just if you go and you look at interviews with a whole crew and you match them up, and as time goes on, the narrative is changing over time. And I think it's just a case of they're hoping that if this sits around for long enough, people will just stop caring and people will just stop forgetting. but certain people won't, like
me.
if yeah, and me alike. Put it this way, right? Again, if he can't clear his name, like if they can't, like if this isn't a breakthrough in science where there's a new, again, the way they're producing food or whatever, if they can't prove that this hasn't happened to other athletes, I can't accept it as what they're saying. I just can't. But again, if there was 5 cyclists that this affected, if there were 3 gymnasts, do you know what I'm saying? Like if there was actually something in other sports where they were like, all right, this is a real thing, we're going to change the testing protocols, because that's what he's spurting. He says they have to clean up, the testing protocol for clomiphene and stuff. If this was happening across multiple different sports, or if it does, I think it would be a different story. But for now, it's just Ben. It's only Ben that this has affected. So let's see. Let's see. I'd be very curious to see how this appeal goes with the BBC.
What about they were doing the rounds that if the Boxing Board of Control lose, they're going to go to a court of arbitration and it could be parked up another year?
I don't know. I mean, can you imagine if, like, there's a chance right now that if he had have accepted this back in the day, like he could have took a lighter sentence and he could be back in the ring legally now, even in Britain. You know what I mean? Because it's been, I think it's coming up on 18 months. Long time has passed. Even back in the day, even if you're like, look, listen, I maintain my innocence. I didn't knowingly take anything. My team knows I didn't do anything, but it was like, look, ultimately this has gotten my system. The UK board, it's strict liability. I'll take me licks and I'll come back stronger. Even that, you would still have hitters for sure. But at least there'd be, okay, at least it's in my system. But that hasn't been the narrative at all. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of good that the BBC are digging the heels in, but is this going to be another case of they, just eventually give up or lose interest, or just, it's costing them too much money? We'll see. But yeah, just what they're saying now, again, he's cleared his name to fight with the WBC. Technically, that's true. But that doesn't matter. The WBC are not VADA, And like another quote from Piers Morgan, he said, and again, quote unquote, the BBC shouldn't recognize VADA. Okay. So if they shouldn't recognize VADA, why hire VADA in the first place?
Piers Morgan should be doing that, but he's going into back because Nigel Benz is chumming.
Yeah.
What did you think to KRUSHER's comments after the fight? What calling out Eubank and all the rest of them and all these other welterweight. I mean, he's like calling people out from 147 up to 168.
Yeah, I think he probably knows that things have changed for him massively. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
But from the inside, he's probably getting sniffs that,
he's
these guys are going to exactly, and these fellows are going to try. These fellows are going to cash me out sooner rather than later. So if they're going to cash me out, I might as well make sure I clear as much money as possible.
Yeah.
But that was another thing that came up with the Eubank whole debacle. Again, Piers Morgan, he said that he got sanctioned by the British Board of Control for 2 reasons at the time. The first reason was that they wanted the fight to go ahead, even though he had an adverse finding. So that was the first thing that he got sanctioned for. The second thing was that allegedly they did not let Eubank know straight away. So that was his second strike. Now, he did a new interview that we talked about, or we looked at during the week on Thursday, where he completely did a U-turn on that. He said that Chris Eubank Jr. was the first person he texted about the whole thing. So why on Piers Morgan, as he's saying, he got sanctioned because they didn't let him know right away, but now he's a snake because, or he called Eubank a snake because he said he was the first person I tried to text, or the first person I did text. He tried to blackmail me for £1 million, yeah, and so on and so forth. Again, mate, these are details that I don't know how you would mix them up. Do you know what I mean? Like, you either texted them first or you didn't. Like, it's after something like that happens, it's like an accident or something, emergency with a family, you're going to remember the first person you rang. Do you know what I mean? I just find it hard to believe that these details now are kind of getting mixed up or they're getting changed. So the stories aren't lining up, bud. not in the slightest.
No, they're not. Okay, what else would you like to talk about, Adam?
Let me see here. A couple of small notes. Yeah, again, the Sky Show, obviously, some good names from their stable on there. The Aziz Boachi fight was solid. I think, I mean, Aziz had good moments for sure. I think just his timing. Like, I'd like to get your opinion on this. I feel like, he started to build momentum late in the fight, and then obviously the two knockdowns happened, and the surface looked slippery. But I feel like he almost should have come out of the traps quick and maybe took a round or two off and then tried to empty the tank again. I just thought he started a bit late. Now I know it's easier said than done. You have to get your timing and stuff, but I wasn't overly I wasn't overly impressed with McGirt in the corner either. Like, there was a couple of times in the fight where Aziz actually looked at him and nodded as if to say, like, I got your instructions. I mean, he was essentially just shouting, get closer the whole fight, and fair enough. I'm not saying that was like wrong advice, but there was no technique to it at all. There was no, dip this way, throw a feint. It was just get closer to, you know what I mean? Like, get closer, get closer. And that was it for 12 rounds. I don't think he was much of a help to him. And I think, if anything, he might have been a hindrance. But then again, we don't know what was going on in camp behind the scenes and how they work together. Ben Whitaker looked really good. Like, I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, and the fella he might have been fighting wasn't that good. Well, he's fought a few British domestic fellas, but I think if that Whitaker fella's promoted right, he could be a superstar. What do you think on Whitaker, Ross?
Well, obviously we can't judge him yet because he's fighting people with losing records, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it all
He reminds
obviously
me
he
of
has to
James
step up.
DeGale, He reminds me of James DeGale when he came on the scene. He rubbed everybody up wrong way, didn't he? And that's why Ben Whittaker doesn't do tickets, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, again, like you said, he hasn't been fully tested or tested properly at all yet. But I don't know. I like his style. He works to the body unbelievably well. Obviously, he's very flashy. I mean, some of it is a wee bit over the top, like the full blown spinning. I know the ref pulled him up on it, but the way he slip shots and stuff, I don't know. I think it's fun to watch. And people always complain about the opposite. It's like, right, we don't have enough, flashy characters in the sport. We don't have enough fun guys to watch. And then when you get one in there, people are complaining, oh, he's too disrespectful, he's too flashy and stuff. Again, I don't think he should be doing like full 360 spins, but I think his style in general is very good. I enjoy watching him. So again, it all depends on who he goes to next, promoter wise, or does he say, well, boxer or whatever. But yeah, again, as long as he's matched up right and they don't give him a bad fight, I think he can go very, very far, no doubt about it. Well, he already has. I mean, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
Olympic pedigree. No, he's exciting. I'm definitely a fan. There was one thing here I wanted to bring up with you. I don't know if you heard anything about this at all. So for the Day of Reckoning fight on the Zone, there was a promotion. There was an alleged promotion, shall I say, where the pay-per-view in the UK was 19.99. They were doing a deal where obviously to watch the pay-per-view, you have to have an active subscription. So the deal that they were doing was, it was 1 penny to sign up, and it was 19.99 for the pay-per-view. So 20 quid all in. Cancel any time, and so on and so forth. Apparently what's happened, and this has happened to multiple people online, is that 1 penny signed you up for a full year of the Zone Premium. So that's what, £120, £10 a month or whatever. So people
Yeah,
were saying that
flagging it to get you tied in, fuck you, innit?
yeah, completely. No, the one fella that the first fella that brought it up publicly, he said he called his own. They said he can cancel any time. That is true, but if he does cancel, he'll lose access to the year subscription, so he might as well stay on. And then allegedly the same fella said that I'm going to call the bank. And then they were like, well, if you do that and you reverse the charge, it's going to affect your credit score.
Right.
So I don't know, mate. It just that doesn't, the way I put it, allegedly, if that's all correct, it doesn't if you're that hungry to get people in the door, it doesn't really sit right, does it?
They're not doing well, are they?
No, no. They're definitely not. I mean, you know better about the UK than me, but it doesn't seem like they're doing very well. But again, if you're going to try and, I know it's all in the terms and conditions in the small print, but let's be real, who reads the small print nowadays? You know what I mean? When you're signing up for a streaming service. Yeah, it's just poor taste, mate. Like, I know they might be trying to generate revenue, but if you're going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth, maybe it's going to do the opposite thing long term. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear more what the zone come out with, but yeah, just something to bring up. 1 point anyway.
Okay, going back to Buddy McGirt, he's
Mhm.
got another Brit beat, hasn't he, and knocked about and that.
Yeah, he has. Um, Again, in-fight communication. I, Look, I know it's all subjective. People have different ways of managing or coaching fighters and stuff. I just didn't think he really provided them with any technical tools or any technical advice to actually make the adjustments. I mean, sure, he was like, get closer and work to the body. Again, that's sound advice, high level, but you're not really giving him any specifics of how you should do that, how you should make adjustments during a fight. Um, yeah, just wasn't overly impressed. Maybe it wasn't as bad as when he was trying to flag down the ref during the Mundo fight. It looked like he was trying to wave down a taxi after a show on the West End or something. But yeah, two bad outings for McGirt, definitely. I mean, again, Aziz dug his feet in, and he definitely had moments, but I didn't really think he received the instructions or much help in fight at all.
What did you think to
Uh,
Big Malk's glasses?
I didn't actually. Hold on. Who are we talking about here?
Spencer Fearon, aka Big Malk.
That's what I thought. I'll be honest. I didn't even see them. I didn't even see them. The stream we
Emailing,
were.
people keep emailing me pictures of him and asking what I think to him. Because I'm wondering if they were like a prop or something, that you use. And if they're real, like, because they look like really, really big jam jar bottoms, don't they? They look like bizarre.
Yeah, I didn't see them last night. I've seen them pop up obviously on thumbnails before, but
Yeah.
again, he wouldn't be a fellow that I have subscribed to previously, and I don't think I will moving forward. So we'll let him off with the glasses. We didn't touch on the whole Fury debacle at all.
So I was just about to say, what do you think to the? I've had my say last few days, and I've got some. I've just got some information now that I'm going to do a video tomorrow on it, and it's going to put a few people into place. But uh, but yeah, go on. What's your opinion on it all, Adam?
So when the whole thing initially broke, um, again, photos that weren't timestamped, videos that weren't timestamped. So my initial reaction was, again, not to give the benefit of the doubt. That video I sent you yesterday with the interview with him and Turkey Al Sheikh, and then obviously Usyk and his coach, and where they did the back and forth. That was live. Fury's there with Al Sheikh. He's got the cut and all the rest, right? So, in my opinion, now the cut's real, right? I mean, that was a live video. The boys were there. It was a live back and forth. So the cut's real. But my kind of question is, like, how does that happen this close? Like, do you remember Casino? You remember the movie Sam Rothstein? Do you remember the fella comes into the? Do you
The
remember the
fruit
politician?
machine, the fruit machine you're on about, aren't you now?
Exactly. Where the politician comes in and tries to get his brother-in-law to keep his job or whatever. And Rothstein says to him, listen, he was either in on it or he was incompetent. Either way, the guy has to lose his job. How does a cut? I mean, are you sparring without headgear? Like, what is it now? It's the fourth. Are you sparring without headgear 2 weeks out from a fight? Like, is Sugar Hill letting this happen? Like, who? I just don't. I just don't see any good reason as to how that happened. Now, innocent or not, like he should have never, ever, ever been put in a position to get a cut like that. Um, so again, we'll deal with facts. There's no point speculating. Like, the cut's real now. It's confirmed. Like, it is there. It's on his face. But the reasoning as to how it happened to me is still very much up for debate. Like, how
Yeah.
was it let happen? Would you agree, sir?
Well, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to press record tomorrow, and
Okay, sounds good.
I'm
Sounds good.
gonna hang them out to dry. Let's just say so. But like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna film that tomorrow. But it
No,
is
sounds
what
good. Do you know
it's.
one detail though I thought was very, very telling? So Turkey was very, very adamant. He was like, look, I wouldn't come on this show and put my reputation on the line. He was like, if I thought this was a setup or a fake cut, obviously he's going to say all that, right? But they changed and confirmed the date to May 18th. So now they're saying the undisputed fight is happening May 18th.
And a
But
10 million fine if anybody pulls out. So if
exactly.
he's buying into all the honesty and all that, why is it all of a sudden? Why are they saying, listen, if there's another pullout, it's 10 million because he smells a rat? Well, yeah, but like I said, I've got something tomorrow that I'm going to put out, so I'm not going to say too much on that.
No, no, for sure. But you nailed what I was bringing up. It's like they say the fight's definitely happening, but why do they need a 10 million retainer? Honestly, I would say behind the scenes, Usyk was like, look, listen, I want to fight somebody else, or you rebook it. But if you do rebook it, whoever pulls out, I want, they get 10 million from the other side of the purse. I don't think it happens May 15. Like, again, looking at the cut on his face, and that's the CMI that burst open against Fallin. I don't, I just don't see how. I mean, hold on now. I should have done this beforehand, but it's the 4th of February. They're talking about May 15th. So what, that's 13 weeks roughly?
May 18th.
Or May 18th, sorry, whatever. But roughly 13, 14 week, let's say. He shouldn't be able to spar with that eye the way it's looking for at least 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So are you not going to spar for 2 months and then spar with a month out from the fight? Again, I don't see how it happens in May. So I'd say Usyk will be 10 million quid richer again. But like, yeah, I know you have the video coming, so we'll talk more about it next time out, mate. The only other kind of sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was about to say, what have you anything else you want to add?
Yeah, so basically the only kind of outside thing that I thought was curious with this is the whole thing with AJ, 3-time champion of the world. Now, that was all predicated on um, the Usyk Fury fight happening, and then whoever won would be stripped of the IBF belt. And then basically, it was set up, right? Hrgovic and AJ, if they both won, were going to be number one. So then they would fight for that vacant belt. I'm as much asking you as saying it, but I wonder now if the whole timeline of that screwed up, right? Because the fight was supposed to happen in February. Somebody would vacate the IBF belt. Hrgovic and Joshua would then fight for it. The winner would have one of the belts, and then they would maybe fight the winner down the line of Usyk Fury. But now at the minimum, that's in May. And like we talked about, likely it's not going to happen in May. So I wonder, does that throw a spanner in the works for the whole AJ 3-time world champion debate? What do you think, man?
I think it's all a bit confusing now because they've got all these governing bodies. They must be sat there with their heads in their hands because what they're having to do, they're having to rewrite the rule books, aren't they? All the time. So, well, where do we go with this? And nobody dare fire a legal letter off, dare they, to any of these governing bodies because they all want that Saudi money. So the division's at stalemate, isn't it? Again.
Yeah, it's all over the place again. It's I'd say behind the scenes, well, obviously, the Saudis can't be happy with the way this is all
Fuming,
transpiring.
fuming, mate.
Not a bit. I mean, the whole thing, like in a perfect world, Fury was supposed to go in, ice Ngannou within 3, not have a scratch on his face, roll into that. And, now it's looking like undisputed. If it happens at all, it's not going to happen until, Q3 of 2024. So I don't know. But again, the final thing on the whole Fury situation, I'm not going to sit here and point fingers until we know more, if we ever know more. But all I will say is whoever in his team let that cut happen, if it was accidental, should be getting their walking. They should be already gone from the camp. You know, the reaction from any ex-boxer, there was Holyfield, there was Froch, Hall of Famers, is, you know, how can a cut like that happen? You
George
know?
Rowe.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, it's all well and good us talking about this here, but if again Hall of Famers and ex-world champions are saying, how does this happen 2 weeks out? Um, yeah, mate. So somebody's got to get the sack. At least that, if I was Fury, somebody would have to be getting the sack. It's madness. But
Well,
we'll see.
John Fury will be hiring and firing him in next 72 hours. You just watch.
Yeah, we'll see. Let me see what else here. Yeah, mate. Oh, sorry, actually, just one thing. I know we've only 4 minutes left. One thing that I found curious as well, and do some digging on this, and we'll discuss it more when we get on during the week when I'm in Vegas for a Zoom. But the cards for Jonas Mayer are still not public anywhere. I don't know if you've picked up on that yet. You know, generally, yeah, exactly. The official scorecards, you know, generally they release them either that weekend or early the next week following the fight. Even for the dodgy fights, like even Triple G Canelo, those cards were available. You know, even as dodgy as they were. I just find it very curious how these cards are still somehow in the wind. So I don't know. I haven't heard anybody you know, pin down Shalom about this. But again, just find that very, very curious. I'd be curious to hear what your opinion is on it.
I didn't know. I just accepted it. It was a close fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Look, you know where I sit on it as well, but I just find it super curious. Like, why are these cards still buried? Like, why, you know, even if you had Jonas winning, like, why are they not being? I don't know. I just find it a little bit curious when the norm is always that they become public the following week. But I don't know. Same thing. Maybe we'll find out more in the coming weeks, bud.
Yeah, we will. All right then, Adam. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, mate. Have a great time in Vegas.
You too, mate. Like I said, I'll keep in contact with you, and then sure we'll get a Zoom sorted for the Thursday of the fight. All right, buddy.
All right, mate. You take care, pal.
Top man, Ross. Cheers. All right, thanks, bud.
Right.
Bye-bye.
That was Adam, an Irish lad living in San Francisco. Women love him, men want to be him. Sadly, I didn't get Kent on today. His best friend's passed away, and he's a bit upset. So we're going to leave Kent to spend time with his friends, family, and so it wouldn't have been right to have him on it. He would have been all over the place, so he's a bit upset. So I hope Kent's all right. My thoughts are with him and his friend who passed away. But we'll get Jerry on it next couple of days. If Jerry sends me a text, how are you doing, Jerry? Hope you're well and your lass. Don't do it, Jerry. Don't get married. They take half, you know. That's about it. So, okie dokie. I think that's 5 you've had today, isn't it? What's that? 21 videos in 4th of Feb. Spoiling yours. The next 2 days are going to be corkers. All right, okie dokie. Jacket tatey and cottage cheese now, a bit of tuna. And then bed. All right, my team's just lost 3-1 at Arsenal. I bet Bricktop's howling in his box with all his little YouTube, little gimp following. Eh? Buttering them all up. Go on, Bricktop. Still below us in league though, pop, pop, bang. Go on, peace out.